Good morning, you guys. My name is Becky Page, and I'm a Diamond Ambassador with Plexus Worldwide. I wanted to do a video because I know your team is studying the 4 colors of MLM, and Julia had reached out to me and asked me to share a little bit about my color personality and how I got involved in Plexus, and to maybe share some tips with you. I want to give you a disclaimer. First of all, I think this book is one of the best books for studying network marketing if you're a people person especially. And I know Lindsay Russell is definitely a people person. She likes understanding personalities. Here's the beauty of it. I mean, it's so short, which is wonderful. It's simple. It's an easy read. Like you can totally sit down and read it before you go to bed and have a good understanding. Then come back and like highlight and make notes of, oh, that means this person. This is my mother-in-law. Oh, here's my old college roommate. She fits this color personality. But it does have a disclaimer in the very beginning. It warns that if you're anyone involved in psychology, then you're going to hate this book. And so I have a love-hate relationship with this book because I'm a licensed professional counselor and supervisor in the state of Texas. And for almost 12 years, I practiced counseling before getting involved in Plexus. And I was able to build a brand and start my own private practice. And we built it from 5 to 25 clinicians. And it was just, it was booming. I had so much of this fun psychology success before I got started with Plexus. And the reason why people who are involved in the world of psychology or psychotherapy don't love this book is because it's almost too simple and people are really complex. So do you hear my love-hate? I love it because I think it's so important to understand people. But at the same time, my encouragement to you would be that people can be really complicated. So you can't totally shove one into one color and expect that they will always respond that way. I'll explain a little bit why as I tell you my story. I look a lot like a yellow because yellows tend to be teachers, social workers, pastors, counselors, and I was a counselor. So I looked really yellow, but deep down, I actually come out more blue in the test, which is pretty funny because I know that Julia is a blue. I think you're a blue-red, Julia. But she would get totally bored on a video call with myself and one of my power partners, Rachel Neagle, because we look really green, right? Because we might be able to retain a lot of information about the products and how they work. But I'm actually not a green. I'm not organized. I come out the lowest on green. I'm not very detail-minded. I can understand the mechanism of how a product works, and I can help remember some of those words. But at the end of the day, y'all, I'm a blue. I'm a blue-yellow. And so let me tell you a little bit about how I was attracted to Plexus. Andrea Mitchell had started posting on Facebook back in the fall of 2013. And I had actually taken a Facebook fast. I'm sure some of y'all have done that. So I got back on Facebook after my fast, which was wonderful. And started seeing, I mean, that was right when people were just posting about, you know, their companies and they were building social marketing brands. And I just was like, oh my gosh, she's posting about weight loss and she's selling something on Facebook. And Andrea has been a dear friend of mine for a long time. We were in each other's weddings. So, but y'all, the blue-yellow part of me, the yellow part of me knew enough about probiotics to know that they worked and that there was a whole field. I get so excited about this. There was a whole field for probiotics in the world of treating mood disorders and people with mood health issues like depression, anxiety, bipolar, and the like. And so I was excited about that secretly. But y'all, as a blue, I also wanted, it looked like she was having fun. And that was attractive to me, even though in my judgy state, I was sort of judging what she was doing and wanted to step back from it. Here's the thing. When I first joined, I told Andrea, I will never sell. And I meant that, y'all. I did. I think the yellow part of me that was just abhorrent. You know, you don't want to talk about money. And I would never force someone to sell. And this would feel so yucky. And I've already built a brand, but my whole brand was built on helping people. So I think if you're dealing with a yellow, it's so important to remember not to pressure them to sell, but to also look out for the other pieces of their personality, right? Because nobody fits perfectly into just one color. We all bleed into these other colors because people are complicated. So as someone who looked very yellow but had a piece of blue, I want to tell you about a turning point in my business in the early days. And I'm just going to confess that I was a spoiled brat, and it was one of those things where all I had to do was talk to a couple friends, and people started joining. And some of you guys have had that success, but if you haven't, just know it's normal not to have that success. You actually have to work this business. So the blue part of me is the kind of person that anytime I sit down with someone, I'm talking about something that I'm doing or enjoying, whether I'm trying to convince you that you need to do CrossFit, or trying to convince you need to do hot yoga, or trying to convince you that you should try my husband's bone broth, or you should go see this movie, or we've got to go to this awesome restaurant. They have an amazing margarita. That's just how my personality is. That's the blue portion of me. But the helper in me loves to hear people's stories. So I was at this place in my business. It was really early on. I think I'd only been with Plexus for 2.5 months. It was spring break, and I had the chance to go to a meeting hosted by Rosalind Payne, one of our uplines, with Andrea Mitchell. And I went, and I was kind of like, oh, I cannot believe I'm at a network marketing Plexus meeting. But y'all, the fun part of me didn't want to miss out, right? Because I had other friends there. Some of my downline was there, so I needed to go. And then the yellow in me heard Roz's testimony, and it just, you guys, I was crying when she was talking about being a working mom and how summers sucked and how she always had to leave her kids with sitters and go to work, and her kids hated summers, and all they wanted was to go on a vacation and to have mom be off. And she was sharing, Roz was right on the verge of going Emerald at this meeting. Isn't that fun? And she was talking about it. She was crying, and she's saying, this will be my first summer to be home with my children. And that hooked me, because as a blue-yellow, I'm a high feeler. And so whenever even now as a diamond, when I go to meetings, I get drawn into the emotions of the testimonies, hearing people's stories, hearing how their lives have been changed. The blue is the connector in me, and the yellow loves to hear that people are being helped. And I'm always thinking, oh my gosh, so-and-so needs to be here. You know, when you go to church and you're like, oh, I wish so-and-so was here. Man, they need to be here. That's how I feel at Plexus meetings. So I'm going to try to stay on track, because Julia gave me a list of questions. I just shared what's fun to me about the business. Here's the deal. Even as a counselor, I didn't start a practice by myself. Thank God. I would say over and over again, I'm so glad I never did that by myself. I have too many flaws. I would have failed. I love teaming up with people. The blue in me, I'll do anything if you're going to. Like Andrea and I have planned more meetings. And one of my dearest friends, Lindsay Carricker, we've planned more meetings where we had so much fun planning it together, and maybe 2 people showed up. But if 2 people showed up, I love people. So that was fun for me. I think one of the most fun things is making relationships. I love getting to know people, whether they're a sideline or a downline or way far down in my organization. I just love getting to hear what makes people tick. And I think stories are what connects us to people. So if maybe you're a high red and stories are hard for you, which would make sense, right? Because you tend to be task oriented and you're looking at kind of the final product and output, then one of the things I would tell you to do is to lean into whatever other color is high for you. Maybe you're a red-green, and so you're driven and you're detailed. So maybe train some of your people in your downline how you do that. I think just being able to connect with others will help. How do I strategically recruit people for my team? Okay, well, because of my counselor brain, I think I'm always thinking about people's personalities. And one of the ways that I recruit is I recruit to their personality. I just talked to someone earlier today who I would love to have on my team, but I happen to know personally that she is in some postpartum hell, you know, just that nightmare place where you're exhausted and your hormones are off and you feel terrible. And of course you can't exercise because you've got a newborn. And anyway, one of the things I'm most looking forward to today is talking to her about how she's going to feel better. I know she is. And being able to sit and listen to her. That's where I do have a piece of red that drives me to, sometimes I just want to get the deal done and let's get you ordered and let's get your products and let's get you started and let's get you to silver. That's where I need to lean out and go, hey, this is someone who can't handle that right now. She can't handle a heavy red part of my personality coming out and being very directive. I just want to focus on hearing from her. She's a mom of 3, home all day with them. She doesn't get to have a lot of people sit and ask her questions and listen to her share. And I'm going to focus on how she's going to feel better. What are some qualities that benefit me in the business? I'm reading from this little note section I've got. I think qualities that benefit me are, and Actually, I really like speaking to people, and I like having conversations. Like right now, I'm just having a conversation with you, even though you're not in front of me. I enjoy that, but also I really, really, really believe in the science of the products. Now, you don't have to have that, obviously, to be successful, but that's one of the things that really benefits me, is being able to understand why the products work and then being able to confidently approach people. And as they share their stories, I can comment and say, well, I can really see how this ease would help you because you're dealing with arthritis and you're dealing with some joint and hip pain issues. So that's one of the things that benefits me. But I would say the number one thing that benefits me is I really like people. I'm not even a high extrovert. I like hearing people's stories, and then I kind of need to retreat and have a little downtime and absorb everything I've heard. But that keeps me going day after day, literally day after day. I feel like God just brings someone on the horizon, even if it's not their time yet. And I truly enjoy praying about the next set of recruits, the next set of people that are going to join my team. Any tips to people in my color wheel? Okay, so like I said, I look really yellow. And so my tip to you, if you look really yellow, is to press yourself to grow your belief. Yellows often have a fear that if they charge forward with confidence, that they're going to push people away, because then that would look like, I want your money, or I'm just in it to grow my business, or maybe just too brash. But I would tell you, if you're a yellow and you're kind of wandering in the wilderness of, people will come to me if I just post again and again, I want to tell you this: no, people will watch you for sure. But God always requires action. You know, even when He's called us, and I truly think Plexus is my ministry. I firmly, firmly believe that. But I'm called to go pursue people, okay? So that's crucial. If you're a high yellow, you need to push yourself to join the pursuit. Not only because your business needs it, but because the next set of people to join your business need it. They need the products and they need you to pursue them. We live in a world, especially with social media, where people will watch you, but rarely anymore are they just going to go, you know what, I think I'll just reach out to her. In fact, it'll probably take you reaching out to them 5 or 6 times. So grow in your confidence and belief of the company and the products, and in how you learn to pursue people. Now, I'm also really blue. Like I said, blue is actually my highest one. And so one of the things I'm working on, with the help of amazing friends like El Rob, is the details. Those don't come naturally to me. I'm not a planner. I love to do things like, hey, let's do this, spur the moment. And that doesn't work when you're a diamond leading a team. You really need to be more organized. And so that's something I've been working on for actually the past year, and I'm slowly growing there. So any tips to people in my color wheel? I would tell you, know yourself. Don't compare yourself. God made you uniquely you, and He is going to grow you. You just need to be aware of your weaknesses, one, so that you can partner up with people who are gifted in the opposite area, and then know your strengths so that you know how to share them with other people. Okay, and then I'm going to just share verbally. You guys hear my kids are getting kind of rowdy out there. I'm going to share verbally some tips on cold messages. One of the things that I would say specifically to a blue yellow, is I would talk about, let's do this together, especially for the blues, because we love to do things with other people. Like, I just want to do this with you. And if I'm talking to a high yellow personality, then I'm going to talk about, I can so see you being able to help people. Your story is going to speak volumes. And I would really put a lot of emphasis on how great their story is, and how much their influence could help save other people's lives, save their marriages, save their families. I would focus on that. So I hope this is helpful. I tend to ramble. I'm sorry for rambling, but I love that you guys are doing this. And thanks for letting me share.